Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my corner of the world. We are here for another CJ Dachamp video. We are checking out the trial of THRAGG, VILTRUMS' final boss. He definitely is VILTRUMS' final boss. Like, that dude is just built different. He is truly one-on-one. And if you haven't seen the episode, then go watch it. Like, seriously though, why would you watch this if you haven't seen the episode? You'll spoil yourself. I'm sure you don't like to be spoiled. So yeah, let's hop in and hear how THRAGG is most definitely getting onto that round table. Alright, link to the original video will be in the description if you want to check it out on your own. Let's run this up.
Why is everyone so nervous about fighting this THRAGG guy?
Shut up, Oliver.
To the hype.
A few moments later.
I got this!
Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. Because what are you here for? To worship me? Kill yourself.
All right,
that was accurate.
Y'all already know
that is a pretty accurate summarization of how I feel about Oliver.
It's time for a trial, and it is for none other than the crispiest Viltrumite in the galaxy, Viltrum's final boss, Grand Regent THRAGG. So, y'all already know how this works. We got the evidence and it is ready to be presented. And my God, I gotta say this is some of the most damning evidence a character has ever had. So, without further ado, Exhibit A.
Bro, really beat them fraud allegations for sure.
Exhibit A. THRAGG's rise to power and his multiple atrocities. Now, we actually got a glimpse of THRAGG's backstory right here. And just from this backstory alone, you could already tell that THRAGG was a crazy ass nigga. Because this man is responsible for multiple horrible atrocities. So let's start off with example 1. This one planet was trying to start a rebellion because they were fed up with the Viltrumites' rule. So they decided to blow some shit up and retaliate. So the Viltrumite higher-ups, or Argall's council, whatever the hell you want to call them, had a meeting to discuss of what they should do about this rebellion. Now, Krieg and Thetis were basically arguing the whole time, because Krieg straight up proposed that they should just decimate the whole planet to show the strength of the Viltrum Empire and strike fear into the species that was trying to rebel. But Thetis, on the other hand, proposed that they shouldn't decimate their planet because the Viltrumite rule over this species was cruel and inhumane. And he thought that since this species showed some type of pushback against their oppressors, that it was an act of strength and Viltrum should respect it because their main core value was strength.
And they looked at him like, are you serious?
Argall decided to shut both of them up. Then he asked THRAGG, "Young nigga THRAGG, my crispy apprentice.
Not crispy.
What do you think we should do about this minor inconvenience?"
Also, why you got Argall sounding like Sidious? Like freaking Palpatine. Why you got him sounding like Palpatine? We all know Palpatine is also built different. He is also one-on-one. Nobody is really touching Palpatine like that. Like, come on, brother. Come on, man. Argall may have been, you know, the ruler of the Viltrum Empire for a while, but bro got snuck. You know? Like, come on.
Do you think we should do about
Don't
this?
Put him on that same tier.
And THRAGG straight up said that these creatures were so weak that their weakness was an offense to the natural order of the universe. And we should educate them on why they're so ass. And after hearing THRAGG's rant, Argall was like, "Now that is why you are my right-hand man. Tax them niggas 25% of their population." This man THRAGG is responsible for this race losing 25% of their population. A quarter of these niggas was wiped off the map because THRAGG thought they was weak as hell. Now, let's move into example 2. His first day as Emperor. Now, after Argall got assassinated and took a big-ass shank to the skull from Optimus Prime, they had a massive funeral for this man, and it was broadcasted across the entire planet. So after THRAGG was done giving the eulogy, he does what is quite possibly one of the craziest things a leader could ever do.
And honestly, one of the dumbest things that he did, I'll be honest.
Needs to be cut out. So he points at this melanated brother behind him and asks him, "You, do I look fresh today?"
I like it, cut G.
I don't believe you. He decapitated this brother for no reason at all. He chopped his head clean off to make an example out of him. So after he just murdered this dude in front of everyone, this man gets on the mic and says, "As my first command as Grand Regent, I, THRAGG, hereby officially announce the first ever VILTRUM culling game."
That's literally what this was,
Every
too.
single sorry ass nigga in our population and eradicate them. Purge every weak nigga from our population. So after
This was
THRAGG
so
gave this
dumb.
speech, all hell just broke loose across the entire planet. And the
You
Great
never
Purge
should have
began.
did this.
Viltrumites just started killing each other off one by one, so they could weed out every person they considered weak. And it wasn't just the adults doing it too. It was the kids as well.
yeah.
Look at them jumping this little nigga. Bro got jumped by 3 other kids that got stomped out to death. This was just straight up horrific. And I'ma keep it a bean. This had to be one of the worst ways to ever find out who was weak or not. Because what this was a battle royale. Anything could happen. You could literally get cheap kills off of niggas for third-partying another 1v1. They could be 10 times better than you. Or you could literally wait until their 1v1 was over and they were at half HP. And just come behind them and sneak their ass. Like, this shit is stupid. And
It's
God
so
forbid
dumb.
a nigga ran into a motherfucker like Conquest. Because that was just instant death.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how strong you were if you ran into that nigga. That is just straight up bad RNG. And at the end of this purge that THRAGG started, it led to half of their population getting wiped out. Billions of Viltrumites died because of this purge. And those billions...
And from the perspective of Viltrumites, getting half of your species wiped out like this is such a detriment to your empire, because you want more of your kind out there to be in control of the galaxy, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Unite the galaxy under them. So wouldn't it help to have more soldiers as a part of your empire so that you can unite everything under your banner? Why would you wipe out half of your own army? Like, THRAGG, bro, is a demon when it comes to combat and whatnot, but as a leader, this was a horrible decision. This was an absolutely horrible decision, especially once we get into the, what do they call it? The Scourge virus, especially once you get into that. Because if he hadn't have done this purge, can you imagine how many more Viltrumites would have survived that? Come on, bro.
of bodies are on
Come
THRAGG's
on.
hand, because he literally commanded them to do this. And now we're at our third major atrocity, and that was his invasion on Telescria. This nigga pulled up in a big ass Star Destroyer and started burning this city to the ground and destroying everything. Millions of innocent people were getting boomed and vaporized, while this man was just sitting in his ship and looking down on all this death and destruction. And there is a high probability that this man would have probably just scorched the whole planet if Mark and friends didn't destroy his ship and make him tweak out about losing Argol's skull. But I think that we can all agree after looking at these three atrocities that this man THRAGG is just a straight up space tyrant, because there is nothing more that this nigga loved to do than conquer civilizations and spread bloodshed wherever he went.
Mass murder, mass murder, mass murder.
Exhibit B, putting the fraud allegations to rest.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. The amount of people that were calling THRAGG a fraud before episode 7 was just flat out
I
insane.
didn't
Like,
call
we're
him a
now in
fraud,
era
but
where if a new character ain't
I
doing
was
some shit
curious
like
as to
Orphan
why
and
people were
belt
saying
ass
that.
niggas in the first 5 minutes of their screen time,
I guess they
they're
just
putting
didn't
them on fraud
really
watch. People were actually
know
calling
about the
him a
comics
fraud
or
before
anything,
he even
but-
threw his first punch. Now, if you were a part of the crowd that was calling THRAGG a
Not
fraud
me.
before all this happened, all is forgiven, as long as you sign this document and turn it in
Not me.
the trial. Now, everyone should have known THRAGG was all about that action the moment the coalition pulled up to Viltrum, because they pulled up searching for this man just for
He
him to
was
meet them at
waiting
the
there.
front door. Bro said, you ain't even gotta search for me, gang. I'm right here and I'm ready to throw down. So Thula comes from behind and sneaks Status in the back, and all the other Viltrumites end up surrounding them, because THRAGG set up an ambush because he knew they were gonna try to track him down and kill him on Viltrum. So he sicks his minions to start jumping the coalition, while he just straight up sat back and watched them fight the whole time. This dude didn't even bother to move from the spot he was in till Space Racer shot his Infinity Ray at him. And all he did was move back a couple of inches. This man didn't give a flying
not at all. He didn't,
one shot.
He didn't
just
even
straight up had the
flinch.
confidence to know that that shit wasn't hitting him. So the first person to actually try to fight him was Omni-Man. So Nolan flew in and tried to hit him, but all THRAGG did was move back a couple of inches again and make Nolan hit straight air. Then THRAGG flew above him and winded up a punch from the heavens. And if you take a look at Nolan's face right here, you can
He
tell
knew.
that he is clearly
He
thinking,
knew.
Damn. He really about to rock my shit.
Yup. Sent him
THRAGG
straight
punched this
down
nigga
to the
Nolan so hard he
planet
turned
in
into a
one
living,
hit,
breathing
bro.
meteor and made him crash all the way down on the surface of
Golly.
Viltrum. So after THRAGG hit Nolan with a stage change, THRAGG came down and tried to hit Nolan with some good old talk no jutsu. He was telling him, Nolan, big dog, come home. Why are you fighting for these sorry ass weak ass niggas? Natus' sorry ass killed our emperor and brought us to damn near extinction, and you wanna align
You
with that
did that.
Autobots roll out sounding ass nigga? But Nolan tried to tell THRAGG that he was a changed man now, and he was done sipping from that Viltrum Kool-Aid to be a brainwashed space tyrant. So after Nolan tried to get THRAGG to stop and surrender, THRAGG looked at Nolan dead in the face and said, oh, Nolan, how far you fallen. Looks like that Earth Coochie really made you a soft ass nigga. So THRAGG winds up a punch that was so strong it created a vortex, and he hits Nolan with a Shoryuken from hell that sent Nolan flying all the way back up into the stratosphere. So after Nolan got sent back to outer space, the next person that tried to step up was everyone's favorite useless purple punching bag, Oliver. Now, before we observe what happens to this half-insect buffoon, I want y'all to hear exactly what Oliver says 20 minutes before this fight starts. Roll the clip.
Roll
Why is
it.
everyone so nervous about fighting this THRAGG guy? No way he lives up to the hype.
Now, as we can see, Oliver is basically representing everybody that put THRAGG on Fraud Watch.
Pretty
He
much.
himself was not believing in all the hype, even after his dad straight up told him, however strong you think you are, THRAGG is stronger. But Oliver, being a hard-headed ass nigga and not listening to any of the warnings about THRAGG, ended up being on the receiving end of one of the most brutal scenes in the series.
Like, here's the thing. Like, his dad told him about it. Alan and his girlfriend, I can't remember her name, but she told him, yes, THRAGG very much lives up to the hype. Like, they warned him, despite every person's warnings about not facing THRAGG alone. God, he is so stupid. Oliver is so stupid. Like, what is he here for? Genuinely, what is he here for? Has he even done anything throughout this entire battle? Or really this entire war? Like, has he done anything useful?
Oliver flew in to punch THRAGG, but
Like,
THRAGG
why
stops
is
him
he
with
here?
one hand. Then he crushes Oliver's hand and grabs him by the arm when he tried to get away. And you can see it in Oliver's face when he finally realized that he fucked up. And he
Yeah.
should have listened to his pops.
He
the
should have
whole
listened
time,
to his.
but it was
He
all
should have
too
listened
late.
to everybody.
THRAGG
Period.
hands Oliver so hard his jaw falls off and his left arm got snatched. Ah, man. Attempted murder and tackle on the child abuse. This nigga Oliver is the most useless person on this squad.
I
he
agree.
was a waste of space. And I already know some of y'all gonna be like, but CJ, what about Tech Jacket? You see,
No,
at least
she is
Tech Jacket
helpful.
knows her role.
Right.
Sit in the backline,
She is
shoot
support.
your Viltrumite debuff darts at him and get your assist.
She is
She's being
support
a
and
good support
useful
character.
support
Oliver,
at
on
that.
the other hand, is that one brain dead DPS on your team that goes into a fight alone, dies, and asks where the team was at as he's feeding the other team. This nigga is just straight up up garbage. This little nigga was talking crazy as hell, all for him to get his jaw broken off and not being able to talk again for the foreseeable future.
Dumbass
Trash
little
can,
boy.
bro. So after Oliver got humbled by THRAGG, Mark tried to rush in on THRAGG with a rage boost, all for THRAGG to flash him with one of the craziest impacts.
Yeah, that impact frame is wild.
Stopping his punch with his hairline. Then after he showed Mark his fresh lineup that he got right before this battle, he gives him a left and a mean-ass gut check, then grabs him by the neck and pimp slaps him out of Viltrum's orbit. Look at the impact frame of this man getting the shit slapped out. He slapped the taste out this nigga's mouth and made his whole head do a 180 before his whole body got put in
He
reverse.
almost broke his neck with a
I'm giving him an
backhand,
extra
bro.
attempted murder because this pimp slap was uncalled for, bro. So damn disrespectful. Then after he pimp slapped Mark, he flew up to my glorious King Battle Beast, rocked him in his jaw, then grabbed his
Battle Beast really got hoed in this fight. It sucks that he can't fly.
We don't see him again for the rest of the fight. Just for doing that to my goat, that's attempted murder. Cause throwing Battle Beast like a toy into deep space is actually insane. So since everyone was getting dog walked by THRAGG, they decided the best thing to do was to just destroy the whole planet. So Space Racer shot his infinity ray at the planet, and Mark, Nolan, and Thetis fly into the planet's core and blow it up. So after these three blew up the planet,
The DBZ sound effects, love to hear it.
This man looked directly at Thetis, locked onto his target like he was a heat-seeking missile, and ripped Thetis' head clean off of his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, that was just straight up murder.
Yes,
Thetis
it
didn't even
was.
get a chance to react. All he saw in his last moments was THRAGG's crispy-ass hairline, blitzing him at Mach speed. Then he displayed his head to everyone, then crushed it into mush while telling everyone they're next. So after he sent Optimus Prime back to the Bayverse, he grabs Nolan with no hesitation and just starts to lay the smackdown on this nigga. While Nolan couldn't do anything, he couldn't fight back at all. THRAGG then low-key started hitting Nolan with the Superman Injustice 2 super move, just yo-yoing his body with punches. Then Mark came in and tried to help out, but he gets punched in the throat and he can't breathe anymore. So
and the thing that I like about THRAGG, like beating up Nolan like that, like bouncing him with the punches, is that he straight up tells Nolan that Thetis' death was like, he made that one quick to avenge Argal. Nolan will not have that. His death will be slow. He wants to punish him before he kills him. Because he definitely could have killed Nolan already, but he said, no, I'm taking my time with you. You destroyed our home. You don't deserve a quick death. You deserve a slow, agonizing one. That is crazy.
So Nolan tried to attack, but he gets his wrist shattered. Then when Mark saw THRAGG flying towards him, his fight or flight senses kicked in. Because Mark hit the jets and just tried to
I don't blame him.
But THRAGG was
I
chasing
don't
him
blame
and he
him.
was on his ass. Look at the expression on Mark's face right here. This is the face of a man who is terrified and is running from death itself. So THRAGG grabs Mark and starts giving him ferocious back shots. Then after he finished
really
giving
does
Mark
look
back
like that.
shots,
That's-
he had him
wow.
hoisted up and he was about to end this man's existence right here. But Nolan comes in and saves Mark at the last second. So after Mark got saved, Mark asked, "Dad, how do we beat him?" And Nolan looked back at his son and said, "Son, we're cooked."
Yep.
Lord have mercy, THRAGG gave Nolan the Viltrumite special technique. That is just flat out attempted murder. Then THRAGG grabbed Mark by the neck again and gave him a headbutt that was probably heard around the cosmos. Then he started to squeeze his head and he was going to crush Mark's head just like he did to Thetis. But at the last second, THRAGG decides to stop because he realized that too much Viltrumite blood has been spilled. So he lets Mark off the hook and leaves him for dead in space with his father and his brother. This man THRAGG shut those fraud allegations up real quick because he just straight up wiped the floor with everyone. Omni-Man got left with his guts hanging out. Mark got put into another
Nobody
coma,
could
and
even
Oliver
put a
had to get written
scratch
back
on
to
him.
with a new shiny mechanical jaw and a prosthetic arm to go with it. Exhibit C. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our third and final exhibit. Exhibit C, PTSD and holding Earth hostage.
Yeah,
now,
Mark was going through it in the finale.
And left the whole family for dead in space. Mark thought they were going to go to Earth and destroy everything. So when Mark finally recovered from the beating that THRAGG gave him, it is revealed that Mark got his ass beat so bad, he got PTSD. But not just your regular PTSD. This nigga Mark got specifically post-thragmatic stress disorder.
Thragmatic.
We haven't seen a case of PTSD this severe since Slade did this shit to Robin. Because Mark was tweaking out so hard, he was seeing things just like Robin was. So let's go through some of the examples real quick of how severe this actually was. Example 1. Mark finally comes back home to see his mother for the first time after the war. So this was supposed to be a heartwarming moment, but it goes south real quick. While Mark was talking to his mom, he looked away for like 1 second. And when he turned around again, he sees Debbie getting choked out by THRAGG. And THRAGG tells him, "This is the smallest repayment for what you did," and rips Debbie's head clean off.
Dog, when I tell you that I was shocked,
for a quick second.
Right?
This happened so fast it felt like a jump scare.
It really did.
For a second that he saw his mother get her head ripped off before
and he could actually do it reality. Just like that
this was
too.
Only his first post-thragmatic stress disorder episode.
I was
there were more to come.
shook when I saw that.
Mark and Eve were having a very important conversation about how life's been for her since Mark left, and she was about to give him the whole lore dump of what all happened when he left. So right before she was about to tell Mark that she was pregnant, she gets her head snatched by THRAGG, and THRAGG starts to hold her up above Mark and tells him, "You took away what I loved. Now I'm taking what you love, little nigga." So he starts to gouge her eyes out and crush her face. Then her other eyeball ends up popping out of her head before he finally kills her in front of Mark, then throws her lifeless body right back at him. This nigga Mark was going through hell. He was living a nightmare because he couldn't tell if this was real or not. Eve had to snap this man out of the
and even if it was,
because he was actually stun locked.
Frozen.
Now, let's observe example 3.
Even if
Mark
it was real, he was frozen. He couldn't do anything.
About to ask him for a therapist. Now, while their conversation continued, Mark closed his eyes, and the moment he looked back up, he sees THRAGG giving Cecil the Viltrumite special move. And while he had his body lifted up, he told Mark, "Just to let you know, I'm still in your head, and not even therapy can repair the shit I did to you." Then he throws Cecil's lifeless body to the side like trash. And after this, Mark just started hyperventilating because he was having a panic attack mid-PTSD till Cecil finally calmed this nigga down and brought him back to reality. So after Mark went through like 3 post-thragmatic stress disorder episodes, Mark decided to go on a flight to clear his head. And while he was out flying, he sees THRAGG again.
And I thought this was another hallucination.
Closes his eyes and starts to think in his head, "This is not real, this nigga's not here. This is not real, this nigga's not here. This is not real, this nigga's not here." So when Mark opens up his eyes again, THRAGG was still there. And he told him, "Yes, little nigga, we are here. And this was when Mark finally realized that the THRAGG standing in front of him was indeed the real THRAGG. So Mark starts tweaking out and begins to hit THRAGG over and over again. But THRAGG just took all of this with no reaction. Then
not a scratch.
Threw him back to where he started. Then THRAGG told him, "Stop, little nigga. I didn't come here to fight. I came here to talk." So THRAGG gives this man a little smile, then tells Mark, "Here's how this is about to go down, little nigga. You took our home, so now we're taking yours. So from this day forward, we will be using Earth as a breeding ground to repopulate our forces and rebuild our empire. And don't worry, they've already started. Krieg done cracked like 6 of your Earth holes already."
Literally, bro.
That's having the time of his life right now.
He
and
really is.
Already famous. He's been hosting this show called Family Feud under an alias named Steve Harvey or some shit. But that's besides the point. What you need to know is this, little nigga. You're going to let us coexist with you. And if you don't, we will rip this planet in half. Also, I will need to acquire the location of your planet's best barbers. Their services will be needed.
Of
So
course.
Mark has to agree because he basically has no choice.
He had no
And
choice.
THRAGG
There's
officially
nothing you
takes
can
the
do.
entire planet of Earth as hostage and turns it into a
Even if you
Viltrumite
gathered all
breeding
of Earth's
farm.
heroes to fight against the Viltrumites, you're going to lose.
The verdict. Ladies and gentlemen, after observing all of this evidence and tallying up this long
bro,
list
put
of
him on the
charges,
table.
this is a pass
Absolutely.
with flying colors. This man THRAGG belongs in the elite category for menaces. He pulled off this list of charges in 3 episodes, gang. That is like a new record for Charles or some shit. And this is just the tip of the iceberg because the files on this man are going to continue over the years. So with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed. And until our next trial that is coming up very soon, I bid y'all farewell.
Yeah, I said it at the beginning. He was most definitely going onto that table. Like, I already knew this. And there's still more to come. There's still more to come. But yeah, this was another awesome video by CJ. I still really can't wait for that pain trial though. I really can't wait for that pain trial. I am excited for that. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed my reaction to this, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.